Hi everyone, I'm Nivya and today I'm going to speak about books by the author Jaishree Misra. I had not read a single book of hers until the very recent past. In fact, I got to see one of the interviews of a very well-known Malayalam actress, Manju Warrior, where she was speaking about Jaishree Misra's books. And that's when I thought, I should maybe also pick her books up and try reading it. And I'm so glad I did it because I loved Jaishree Misra's writing style. In fact, I ended up reading 3 books of hers in a row. And today, let's discuss about those 3 books. So let's start with the first book. So the first book that I'm going to speak about is this Ancient Promises. So I read 3 books, right? So one book is purely fictional, another one is biographical fiction, and then the third one is autobiographical, semi-autobiographical fiction. And this one is that semi-autobiographical fiction. And I did not know that this is a semi-autobiography of Jaishree Misra until I finished reading this book. Like in the author's note in the end here, like you can see this is the entire book, and in the end here in the author's note she has written, I've become used to being asked how much of the story was true, and then she has mentioned it as semi-autobiographical. So that's when I got to know that this book is somewhere around true story of the author herself. Alright, so let me tell you what this book is about and then I'll share my opinion about this book. So Janki is a girl who was brought up in Delhi and she falls in love with a guy named Arjun. But her parents kind of forces her to get married to another guy from a very wealthy family and from their homeland Kerala. Now after her marriage, she does not get enough emotional or mental support. And things worsen when she gives birth to a girl child who has some mental disabilities. Like they do not even support the child or pay attention to the child. That's when Janki fights back as a mother, as a lady, and also as a human. So that's the core of the book. While reading this book, what I felt is that it's highly from one perspective, that is from Janki's views. Like I so missed the perspectives of Mara, the husband. As in, I so wished that there was a second part to this book, which is highly from the perspective of Mara. Because I have a lot of questions, as in, why was he so emotionless? Why was he so disconnected as a father? Why did he behave the way he behaved? Was it just upbringing, or what was it? And what is it that made him happy? Is it just running a business? So many questions, and I wanted to hear from that side as well. But as I said, it's after reading the book that I got to know that this is a semi-autobiography of the author herself. So which means if we have to know from that perspective, then we would need Mara himself to write a story. I mean, the character of Mara to write the real Mara. If such a character exists, then we'll need to know from that side. So that's what I felt about this book. But otherwise, I so loved the writing style of the author. It's not at all boring. She keeps us hooked into the book, and I just felt like reading the book like in one stretch. Like didn't feel like keeping this book away at all, even once. So this is a good book, definitely, if you want to read it like a story. I mean, I wouldn't say as a semi-autobiographical. It is after all semi, right? So we don't know exactly which is true, which is not. And so if you're reading it like a fiction, then kind of lovable one. So with that, let's go to the next book. The second book is Rani, which is biographical fiction of Manikarnika or Jhansi Ki Rani. If you have watched the movie Manikarnika and you're expecting whatever's portrayed in that movie to be the content of this book, then no. The focus of this book is very different, and definitely the data, the information in this book is much more than what you see on screen in that particular movie. Manikarnika gets married at the age of 13 to the king of Jhansi, and then she becomes an indispensable part of the court of Jhansi. After the king and the infant son of hers dies, she does the best for her people to support the people in Jhansi. But at this time, British annex Jhansi, and then Rani Lakshmibai seeks help from Robert Ellis, who is Jhansi's political agent and an officer in East India Company, and she falls in love with him. Then later we get to experience and know in detail about the 1857 war as well. It's really a big book. I did take time to complete reading this book, but in the end, it's a good treat to read. It has tragic moments, but you would not remember the book for the tragedy, but you will remember it as a book with a character which is filled with power and strength, and that is why I highly recommend this book. It's definitely written in a great style as well. I mean, the author herself has that knack to write in a very good style. Again, so highly recommended this book. With that, let's go to the next book, Secrets and Lies. This is a fictional book, and this is the first book that I picked up of this author. And from the very first book that I read, which was this one, I loved the writing style of the author, so that's good. But I loved this book until I finished reading it. As in, once I completed reading the book, I disliked it. Why? Because it was so incomplete. The climax was so disappointing. Let me tell you what this book is about. So this book is about four ladies, Anita, Zeba, Sam and Bubbles, who have been friends since long time, since their school. And now after a long time, their principal, school principal, Mrs. Lamb, invites them for a reunion. And now these four friends are very scared because there's a secret which is just between them, but now they are scared whether Mrs. Lamb is aware of it and if it's going to be there out in the world, that particular secret. Amazingly written book. The suspense, the thriller that you're waiting for, right? To like know what is the secret, what really happened. Is it going to be there? Like, will the world really know about it? All that catch, like, wanting us to read the book till the end. That's all amazing. But as I said, after you literally read the climax, like you're reading all of it to know what happened, like what is going to happen, right? And then you get to know, like really, like, okay, nothing happened. Like where is it? Like what happened? That is where the disappointment is. Like, I loved the book until the end, and then in the end, after reading the book, I was like, okay, the book is over. Oh no. So that's sad, and hence I would not recommend this book to you. But overall, I so loved Jaishree Misra's book. Like, she has been able to make me a binge reader of her books. Like, that is something to be applauded about. So I loved her. Again, just mentioning the same, that her writing style is just top notch. But had the climax of The Secrets and Lies been really good, I don't know if there's a second part to that book, but anyways, just reading that as a standalone book did not make sense to me. But otherwise, I loved all the other content that she shared and that she has put on for us to read. With that, this is me, Navya, signing off. Keep reading a lot of books. Until we meet next time, take care. Bye.